What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for another daily news update, and one that we should do basically every single summer. And it's what's actually the goal. It's not a prediction from us, from the fans, but more of a prediction of whoever is in charge. In this case, Tudor, and he spoke and he said something that might be controversial or just very realistic about the situation of the club where we are, and you can still say, but at a club like Juve cannot say certain things. And what he said, you already know, and I'm just gonna come back to it, saying that basically we're not a title contender. However, we're also not just gonna be there to be there and scrape basically top four like we have done the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons, especially last season on the final match day, and again with Pirlo, for example, and just in general, that was our place the last 5 years, and it shouldn't be our place. However, is he just being very realistic with it and just being extremely honest with the fact that, yeah, that's who we are at this moment in time. We are a top four team. We are a team that, are fighting the relegation, whatever you want to call it, and we just need to accept what we are right now. So before we get into it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about it. Okay, so before we go into the quote, should aim like a club like Juve shouldn't always aim for the title. And even we know we're not in the best of situations at this moment in time. There's no denying that. We need to be honest with it. But still, shouldn't be the message. The message shouldn't that always be we're fighting for top four. Top four is our aim. Top four is our goal. There's no ifs and buts. We need to get top four. Basically, we need to be a contender, every single season. And top four should be by default. Because if you contend, if you're fighting for the title, you're finishing top four, unless it's a 5 horse race, basically, which is unlikely. But you should be in there. Now Tudor came out and he was asked about that, and he was asked about, okay, last season you got Champions League, you did what the club asked you to do before you joined them. So what is next, basically? What is the next step, or what is your expectation? And he said, I'm not saying we're title contenders, so basically saying we're not title contenders, but we're not aiming just for fourth place. This is Juve. This Juve has a good mentality, but we also have to consider that Juve hasn't finished first or second for 5 years, and it must be approached with great motivation. So he flipped it. He said, well, we need to be honest, and we are who we are at this point in time, which is a fair point. And as a fan base, I think we all agree with the fact that we're not the best team in Italy, let alone in Europe. So he said, okay, we're not maybe contenders, but we're not just aiming, get top four. There should be a goal. And the goal, I think, underlining without saying it, with literal words, is like we need to push and contend, even though right now it seems unrealistic that we're contenders. And then the last part, he said, it must be approached with great motivation. Basically saying that as a team, as a club, we should be going into the season aiming for the highest. And the highest is obviously winning that title. How unrealistic it sounds. And I'm not gonna go off the squad, because is the squad is it such a great difference between the squad we have and Napoli? No, I don't think there's such a massive. Let's say when we were winning title and you compare that with a team that finished fourth, that difference in squad was insane. Like it was that big. I don't like Napoli do not have a midfield of Pirlo, Vidal, Marquisio, and Pogba. They don't have that quality midfield. They don't have that quality backline. So the difference isn't what it was in the past. But there is a difference. There's a difference in probably coaching, mindset, and the fact that actually they won. They actually won the title, and they go again, and they know how to win. That's the massive difference. That's the thing that we need to acknowledge as a fan base, and we need to be honest with that again. But is there a difference that much in quality that we should finish 20 points behind them? No, it shouldn't. Or 15, like we have done in past seasons, where it's like they won the league and we were 10, 15 points, 20 points behind them. That should never be the case at a club like Juve. Never, ever. And the goal should be, okay, we start the season knowing that, well, we're not the favorites, obviously, because last season showed that, but it's a clean slate. This season, it's different. This season, we go again. And that means be ready from game day one. That means not collapsing mid-season, or have a stretch where we cannot win a game, or have a stretch where we just draw games, those type of things, or throw away games from winning positions almost on a weekly basis, like we have done last season. That's also part of the mindset. That's part of the fact, okay, we're in front and we can win this game. And not we're in front, but damn it, at one point we're just going to throw that game. Because last season, how many times were we watching a game where it's like, we know what's going to happen. 1-0, 2-0. We're just gonna throw that away. It's just we're just waiting for the moment where we are just basically going throw that game away and be like, yeah, just the timing was off. Was it a minute 50? Was it in the first half? Was it in the second half? Was it late? Were we gonna give away a penalty? Are we gonna miss clear-cut chances where it was going to come back and haunt us? Even at the Club World Cup, we've seen it, and that was kind of mindset. That's something we need to get away from. At one point, as a club, as a group of players, as a coach, you need to convince these players and actually, no, just convince. Like, there's nothing else. Like, convince these players that at one point, okay, you're good enough to take that lead, and you're actually good enough to maintain that lead for 90 minutes, almost on a weekly basis. You're not going to win everything, but last season, it almost felt like these players knew that at one point they were just going to mess it up. And they just made peace with the fact that, yeah, we're going to mess it up. And that's who we are right now. That's how last season felt to me personally, So that cannot change. So he's been very realistic with the fact that, okay, we haven't been that team for the last 5 seasons. We need to accept that. But that should not stop us. That should be the motivation to become the team we want to be, and not that team that we have been over the last past 5 seasons. If I ask you guys the prediction, which I'm not going to do, we're going to do the predictions after the window shut. That means we probably would have played 2 games by then, but it is what it is, because especially this season, things can happen. But if I ask you a prediction at the end of August, start of September, I'm going to say 25%, maybe that's a stretch, is going to say we're going to win the title. And that's because they will say that no matter what. And a small portion actually believes we're going to win the title. That's always there. You can hope, but realistically speaking, I think the majority of the fan base is going to say, like, no, because we don't have the best coach. We don't have the squad that knows how to do it, and we don't have the coach that knows how to do it. And we're going against teams who have the squad how to do it, and also the coach knows how to do it, So he played it fair, and he played it safe, Tudor, but he also throw in that we must show something. We must improve, and we cannot just accept that that's who we are. So if we get top 4, yoo-hoo, we've done it again. Season successful. No, it's not. And we know it's not, So yeah, no problem with him saying that, to be honest, because he added the last piece. Otherwise, I would have had an issue, because at the end of the day, you just not accept that you're not title contenders, and that's about it. You need to do something, and he added the motivation, in my opinion. So in the comments, let me know what you think about the statement. Like the video, as always. Let's push to 100 likes easily. Should be getting done. Subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you guys later, probably tonight.